Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gents. This is DeFub21, and well, how should I put this? We've got a big one for you today. It's the Far Cry 5 announcement trailer, well, slash reveal trailer. What's the full name of it here? Just a second here. Yeah, the announcement trailer. Yes, Far Cry 5 announcement trailer. So, without further ado, let's take a look, and then I shall give you my thoughts post haste.
Something is coming. You can feel it, can't you? You can feel that we are creeping towards the edge. I know that you are out there. And I know that you are in pain. But my children, I'm here to tell you that suffering is a choice, and you can choose a better path. We want you. We accept you. And we will take you, willingly or not. And some of you may fight, but in the end, you will thank us. I am your father, and you are my children.
Upon us! I shall lead you to the gate, for you are my children and I am your father!
PS4 for the players.
Well, all I can think of off the top of my head is kind of bloody hell. I mean, that is definitely gonna push some buttons among certain groups in the United States. So basically, it seems to be some kind of religious fundamentalist preacher. Appears to be Christian in origin, but again, that I could be wrong on that. And his followers running a rampage through rural Montana. I assume all of Montana or most of Montana is rural. There could be some big cities I don't know about. I don't really know that much about the urban makeup, as it were, of each state in the US. Visually looks good. I assume we were looking at the PC version there. I mean, you've got all the kind of quote unquote kind of hometown USA type tropes in it. You've got your big rig, your all-terrain vehicle. You've got your American kind of classic 60s muscle car. You've got your female character who's a bartender. You've got your black preacher, and then you've got that crazy dude with those marks in his body who we assume is like one of the main henchmen for the main bad guy who you'll face off against at the end of the game. It's certainly, I mean, if there was one criticism that you could level at 4, which I have but didn't complete, actually not so much for 4. 3 is probably, if memory serves, 3 is probably, that was the one that was set on that island with these tribal types. That was a bit, there was some criticism of that, of being a kind of, I can't remember enough of the criticism in detail, but it's the way the kind of the indigenous characters were treated and portrayed. There was a criticism of that, and it's kind of sexploitation type stuff with the main female lead character on the good guy side. But Yeah, I mean, that's a big departure from this. I don't think you're going to get the yes. Somehow, I don't think the SJWs are going to be complaining about Good Old Boys being blown to itty bitty pieces, assuming there are any Good Old Boys on the bad guy side. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, it's certainly very interesting. They haven't gone down, certainly from that trailer, the really kind of button pushing route, which is, you can see, like, for kind of a, if you're portraying the bad guys as being this kind of, like, they've got like pickup trucks with machine guns on heavy machine guns, or machine guns mounted on the beds and stuff like that, like they're kind of militia. And considering, kind of right-wing militias in the US tend to be, associated with, not necessarily are affiliated with, but associated with, think neo-Nazis, think, people who are fans of the Stars and Bars, in other words, the Confederate battle flag and stuff like that. And that imagery seems to be absent from this trailer. So they may be going for not the most obvious stereotypical way they could go with portraying kind of, religious, as the coastal elites would describe them, right-wing loonies in rural America. But it's yeah, I mean, it's an interesting way to go. I think it has the potential to be quite controversial again with certain elements in the US, particularly if it's effectively spend much of the game blowing, again, as I said, Good Old Boys and hometown USA people into itty bitty pieces. But we'll have to wait and see. It's certainly, again, modern USA. None of the Far Cry games have been based, not just in America, but any industrialized kind of first world country. Although I don't know the geographical location of Far Cry Primal. I've never played that game. I don't know if it's alluded to in the game at all. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly, a significant departure in that respect, because again, they were all kind of in foreign kind of / developing world, sunny inclines in the previous games. This one's set in again, rural Montana. That's a big shift there. In terms, that certainly got my interest peaked on that. It was, again, from an attention-seeking standpoint, it was a good move. However, I mean, I completed Far Cry 3, which is the one set in that kind of there was that criticism of. I also have Far Cry 4, which is set in this kind of Himalayan type country, but I never completed 4. Played it a good bit, but never completed it. Again, for the same reason I haven't really played any Assassin's Creed games in quite a while. I've gotten sick of the kind of Ubisoft design book for open world sandbox games. I haven't touched either Watch Dogs 1 or 2 for that same reason. And I think probably the major Western publishers, Ubisoft has earned the least of my money over the last couple of years. And to really get me interested, really get me excited for this game, Ubisoft needs to, and I assume they'll be showing it off at E3, which is around the corner at this point, that they have begun to genuinely deviate from a game design standpoint. If the world and the map you play in is kind of full of these towers that you capture to reveal the map, which is a kind of, again, by the book Ubisoft open world sandbox design. Again, that's not. I mean, if they could add some interesting gameplay elements to it to make it more fun or entertaining, but the usual stuff of just having, gotta catch them all, collect quests of loads of stuff all over the map of several different categories, so that if you do get the map fully revealed, there's crap everywhere and it just looks incredibly intimidating, exasperating to try and collect it all, and you just couldn't be bothered, which is how I felt about 4. In particular, because I had unlocked all the map stuff and gotten all the weapons even before I'd gotten halfway through the single player campaign, because I like to grind a bit, and it was just too much. They either need to remove some of the existing stuff they've had in that kind of, again, that Ubisoft open world design book, or they need to change it in interesting ways, or they need to add new things that I find genuinely interesting. That would get me to come back to not just to the Far Cry franchise, but really open world sandbox games from Ubisoft at all. I haven't bought the most recent Ghost Recon game either, and I probably, again, currently, or The Division, and I have no real plans to buy any of them really. So hopefully there'll be some actual innovation on the game design slash deviation on the game design front, world design front, and kind of gameplay design front in this game over not just the previous Far Cry games but previous Ubisoft open world sandbox games. But if that doesn't happen, then yeah, I'll be interested. But I'm certainly not. I'm not going to be paying $60 for, you know, a Far Cry 4 set in Montana. I want, you know, it doesn't just mean new setting for a game to be truly new. It means new gameplay mechanics, changes and alterations to the existing formula at the very least that are meaningful, or even just throwing some of the old, you know, legacy stuff out and starting over. It's not coming out till February next year, which means, I think, was it Primal came out last year, was it, or was it the year before? But again, Ubisoft seems to be going to a longer release schedule for its open world games, first person or third person, which can only help quality. We had no Assassin's Creed game last year. We're getting one at the end of this year, rumored to be set in Egypt. That'll be very interesting. Hopefully the quality will be significantly improved. And again, as I said, for this, again, this is true of any open world sandbox game that Ubisoft makes. They need to up their game. They need to make changes and alterations. They need to, you know, drop some of the stuff that, you know, overloading the game world with things to collect and side missions that, frankly, with the raw number of them, get repetitive and boring very quickly, has, for me, run its course. And if Ubisoft wants me to start buying their own open world sandbox games again, they're going to have to genuinely change and or up their game quite a bit. It'd be cool to see significant upgrades in kind of artificial intelligence and persistent AI behavior in the game world and stuff like that. But again, considering the fact that the Xbox One and the PS4 are quite limited upgrades over their previous systems on the CPU power front, that is not terribly likely. It's the primary reason why Destiny 2 is apparently running on 30 frames per second on both Xbox One, PS4, and PS4 Pro. The graphics might be able to handle 60 frames a second, but the CPU can't, because there's a lot of physics and stuff in that game. Anyway, this is Defub21. Let me know your thoughts on this game and this trailer in the comments, your hopes and dreams. If you like this video, please like it. And if you haven't, for some strange reason, already subscribed to my channel, please do so for more scintillating content, such as me continuing to complain about Ubisoft's open world games, like this. This is Defub21 signing out, or signing off. Toodaloo.